It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game here on this Monday. He is Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. In the words of Cody Rhodes, who was in our city Friday night for SmackDown, so Nashville, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, my goodness.
What a day, what a night it was Saturday on West End and then Broadway and then the Cumberland River.
It was amazing. I got a text from a friend of mine at 3:30, and he said, "Oh, no," and hashtag Bama. I was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "They're still in Tuscaloosa." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, Vanderbilt took that opening drive and just shoved it down their throat and scored. They manhandled Alabama. I got a bad feeling. I was like, oh, you know how it's going to end. They'll get a nice little lead. Don't worry about it. And then Bama will come back and win. And I'm telling you, let's stop the narrative right now. Vanderbilt whipped Alabama's ass up and down the field.
No question.
Let's stop about it. They beat them man for man up and down the field. So let's stop that narrative.
Yeah, this wasn't a fluky, weird bounce play at the end, and they end up winning the game. No. Vanderbilt led from start to finish.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt, I mean, look, I'm not going to say dominated, but Vanderbilt controlled the game. It was their game to lose. And, everybody knew, like I was at the Preds game and keeping up with it, and I saw a Bama fan, and I looked at him and I smiled and I said, hey, I don't get to do this often, and my guess is this probably isn't going to last very long, but go Doors. And he started laughing. He goes, man, hey, good on him.
Why don't you shove him? That's when you can shove him.
I don't shove people unless they shove me, and then I put them in intensive care. But no, I'm just kidding. Which I've been shoved a lot lately, but we won't get into that.
It's all right, man.
So I was like, is this real? Like, I'm pinching myself. I'm like, this is fantastic. And I don't know if Dr. Crane, I'm putting you on the spot here. I don't know if we have it. I don't know if they saved it from Saturday night, the post-game audio of Max coming on the air at the end of the Preds game. Yeah, you had no idea where I was going, did you? I don't know if we have that, but if we do, I want to play it. And I meant to ask you before, so that's my bad. But like, I walk into Barrel House and it is packed full of people around the TV watching the end of this game. And by listening to the cheers, you would have thought the Predators won the Stanley Cup.
Good.
I mean, it was awesome. And it was a mix of Vanderbilt fans. There were Tennessee fans. There were just fans that hated Alabama that just wanted to see it happen.
Which probably a lot of them there, which leads me to this. Was it the single greatest sports night in Nashville's history? And everybody, no, the Music City Miracle. I want to know. I mean, you saw the celebration after the game. Things that happened. Music City Miracle was a terrible game. Yeah, game.
It wasn't a good game.
And then that happened in the last 16 seconds and people lost their mind. But, somebody said, well, when the Preds won the Western Conference in 17.
Yeah, I mean, that was
night.
up there.
Yeah.
That was definitely up there.
But I got to tell you, man, growing up here, I'm thinking that was the greatest sports night since I've been alive. And you can come out Music City Miracle. I don't care. But I knock off the number one team and the downtrodden program of Vanderbilt. And hadn't been Alabama in 400 years. I mean, all of it went together. And it was just amazing to watch Twitter and Facebook and Instagram Saturday night and watch what was going on. I mean, it was fantastic. And kudos to Clark Lee. I think in all this, we've seen very little, at least I have, appreciation for Clark Lee. We were on him beginning of the season.
Yeah.
You and me. Like, Virginia Tech to get beat. And Clark Lee's on the lifetime contract. He's building something over there, man. And that's the thing with the portal. We can't go back season to season now. The 24 Vanderbilt football team, different than the 23, different than the 22. So congrats to Vandy.
This was, as Max came on the air, this was the post-game show Saturday night.
Of our closest friends watching Vanderbilt take the final knee against Alabama here.
Oh, this is great. Listen to this crowd.
It just warms my heart to see all these people clapping for Vanderbilt football, including a lot of people in Tennessee Orange.
Live. I can't imagine what it was like at the stadium, when everything was happening. And by the way, I don't know who decided to do this. whoever put the clip of Nick Saban at the very, very end up on the, like,
Wonderful.
give that person a raise.
Employee of the month.
Like, that was fantastic.
And for those that don't know what you're talking about,
Nick Saban. Oh, you got it? Okay. Never. Dr. Crane's on it.
But the only place you play in the SEC that's not hard to play is Vanderbilt. Because when you play at Vanderbilt, you have more fans there than they have. And that's no disrespect to them. It's just the truth.
Hey,
When we played in Nashville, we had more fans, Alabama fans, than what they had Vanderbilt fans.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say to that.
he's not wrong.
It was brilliant to play that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't wrong. And here's what I hope happens because of this. And look, I'll put it on me too. I wasn't there. I didn't go. I went to the Preds game. And, I could have gone, but I was like, yeah, I'll let other people use our tickets, the station tickets. There was, somebody that really wanted to go. They went. So I went to the Preds game. But if I had wanted to go, I could have gone. And so my thing is, show up now. Like, you may never see that again. I don't know.
Right.
I hope you do. But now it's like, okay, the season's special. Whatever happens the rest of the way, I think you got a good football team. Georgia State is what Georgia State is. We'll get. I have a thought on that though. Missouri was moral victory of moral victories, where you went in there, you played your hearts out, and you still lost.
Yep.
And then you go, and it finally all comes together, and you beat Alabama, the number 1 team in the nation. So now show up, support these guys, support this team. It's a special team. Whatever happens the rest of the way,
Right.
this is a special team.
I agree with you on that. And just watching there's a great shot, and whoever took it, maybe off a TV copy, was the camera panned out, and you see it's 80% Bama fans on that one side, which is fine. And they're all sitting there, and there's that small little sliver, I know that's redundant, of Vandy fans sitting there going crazy next to Alabama fans. We're like, oh my God, what just happened? Is an amazing shot. And I was like, good for them. Good for them. If you beat Georgia, beating Tennessee at number 1 will probably top that. I get it. But what happened on Saturday over there was amazing. And Pavia, my goodness, man, he is just a ball player. He did it to Auburn last year. I mean, he did it to MTSU also. Then he comes to Vanderbilt. He's doing it to everybody else here. He did to Virginia Tech. And congrats, man. Just a wonderful, wonderful game for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and anyone, not that there's a lot of people, but you got a couple of people on Twitter that were mad at him because he cursed and everything on TV. Like, leave him alone. Like,
if you about cursing,
well, get over it, because like in the moment, like a special moment like that, I don't care what you say. Like,
right.
Just be you, be in the moment. He's praising the Lord and all that stuff. And I thought that was great. But it was just special. And so I will say, now I got a lot of tweets of, hey, where are you at? Where's the goalpost?
Couldn't get down there.
So I was leaving downtown when, like, went to the Omni,
right?
Went to Barlands. Shout out to Todd Rodemel.
Todd.
And
hey, Todd.
Todd sent me a very nice text, so I appreciate that. We walked out of the Omni, and I saw like the tail end of the group, and I was like, holy cow, it's already down here. Like, they got it down here
quickly.
Like, quickly in an hour, it was in the river.
Yeah, right. It was.
And so my mom, so you'll love this. So
she had mom.
My mom texts me, and she's like, well, I'm happy she hates Vanderbilt. No, she's a Tennessee fan. Like, that's just her. So she's like, I'm happy for Vanderbilt, but they're just being silly. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, they tore the goalpost down, and now they're taking it towards Broadway. Are they going to throw it in the river? And I go, you mean like Tennessee did when they beat Alabama?
And then
she was like, well, yeah, but this is different. I'm like, how? What?
Right.
You've never seen doctors and lawyers carry a goalpost before?
You talk to your mom that way. No. And then Tennessee fans, y'all are so petty. You got your butt kicked, and you went after Vandy fans like, they're copying us. Are you the only school to dump a goalpost in the river? I mean, everybody copies everybody on and on. So we'll talk about Tennessee and Arkansas later on. I thought Robbie was going to have a stroke this morning over all that after, building Nico and Heupel up so great, and then Sam Pittman just took him down. But anyway, it's about Vanderbilt right now. And so, the goalposts were like, all right, what's the situation here? And then somebody was tracking. I'm like, it's already on Broadway. And next thing you know, it's in the river. Fast. Good job. Get it done. Vanderbilt was fined $100,000. So I'm sure Willie just get that out of his back pocket and pay that today. So no worries.
I love this. Tommy on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025. I was there and I'm a UT fan. So note that. Bama had every opportunity, but Vandy had help. The pick six was a PI and roughing the passer was ticky-tack, but congrats to Vandy. Just my observation from being there. I could care less about that.
But you commented.
Yeah, but you commented. You care. That's all right. I think Tennessee fans would probably have been happier for Vanderbilt had they won. But they screwed up and lost to Arkansas.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And they shouldn't have, but it was a weird day. It was one of those great days of college football. So, that's what it was. We will take your reaction. Vanderbilt defeats Alabama and knocks off the number one team in the nation. We have to play some clips coming up next of this show and some things we might have said, because I've already been some things have already been brought up on Twitter that I need to now bring up. Brett Kern going to join us at 9:30. Andrew Allegretta, who was on the call that you heard on 94.9 The Fan, will join us at 10:30. Chasing Big Joe on a Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It could be on Saturday if Vanderbilt wins. At least
Goalposts up and down West.
oh, down Broadway. I'll help carry it down Broadway. I'll get out there.
Hey, I'll get out there and we'll take that son of a gun down to the river.
Yeah.
Just like they did in Knoxville.
Dr. Crane, you in with this? I don't know what you're watching.
I'm
man.
sure.
No, I can.
I'm
Okay.
sure Vanderbilt doesn't like hearing that right now.
I don't give a damn.
Just as long as I'm able to sit on the goalpost and everybody just carries me on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Done something.
Yes.
Yeah, we're taking the goalpost.
Bring your
down.
cowboy hat, and you're gonna I want you to wave the hat, going yeehaw,
I have a
right
hat.
the goalpost.
I
You're
have
gonna-
a cowbell from Mississippi State. I can bring it all.
All right, you're gonna ride that cowboy hat like Steve Buscemi did in Armageddon. When he's on top of that
Yes.
nuclear warhead. That's what's good. I'm telling you, man. If this happens, I will find a way to get the West End and help carry that goalpost all the way from West End to the Cumberland River.
Well, we couldn't get down there to grab the thing, but Vandy fans did their part because Vanderbilt defeats Alabama, and they took that son of a gun from West End all the way to the Cumberland River.
Quickly, they took it quickly down West End.
So did you hear this? There is somebody we know that did help carry it. Predators head coach Andrew Brunette talked about this yesterday and said that, and our own Caitlin Daly got video of it. So they had a function on Broadway after the game, like a team event, and he was walking down there and he saw the goalpost, and I guess they were trying to move through the cars and everything, and they had set it on a car, and he helped pick it up off a car. So he
He's
touched
guilty.
it.
Yeah.
He got to touch it.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Again, the greatest night in national sports history. I want to hear what you guys think about
So
that.
I'm going to say it's not.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's not. You're going to say this is a cop out, but it's by far the greatest night in Vanderbilt football history. There's no question. I mean, they've never beaten a top five.
Vanderbilt history.
Yeah, Vanderbilt history. It is the best ever. I just think there are different layers of what is the best night. Like the Music City Miracle was its own thing. The Western Conference Final was its own thing. I mean, I don't know how they stack up against each other.
Well, that's your own opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's just mine. I mean, because I think what was great about what happened Saturday was you had those that were in the moment and the Vanderbilt fans that were in the moment that were just there from the beginning. And then you had everybody else that realized what happened was like, holy cow, yeah, let's be a part of this.
Right. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I mean, but yeah, so it was fantastic. And it was a great football game. That's the other thing too. Like, if you go back and you watch it, like it was a fun football game to watch.
Had it been since 84, since Vanderbilt beat Alabama?
Yeah, probably.
And it was at Bryant-Denny, 60,000 on hand, and Vanderbilt won 30-21. That's the year Vanderbilt started out 4-0. Started ranked in the top 20, and they were 19. And I'll never forget, Tulane came to town and beat Vandy and knocked them down. So for 40 years, first time, had Bama been ranked 10th or 12th or 14th, still huge. But you beat the number one team in the country. And you brought a great point up last week, which is now in the forefront of my mind. Here comes Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes could you imagine Chester McCabe if they knock off Bama and then Texas? I mean, it would be, I'm telling you, man, I'm not sure what book of Revelations this is, but it's in there.
Yeah. I mean, I walked out of Bridgestone Arena after the game was over and I felt the ground just to make sure. Like, I mean, yes. I did. I mean, so our buddy Ricky says in the social media era, it's the biggest sporting event moment in the city's history. Now that's a good way to look at it because now Western Conference Final, you had social media, but like Music City Miracle, we didn't have that.
God, he's correct.
He's right. Like that's a really, really good point.
I mean, when you drive a forklift, you get some good thoughts in your mind, don't you? When you're driving around, you're like, that's a great, because we take it for granted now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, there was no Twitter, Music City Miracle, and no Facebook, nothing like that.
So could you say in no particular order, the top three would be Music City Miracle, the night the Preds won the Western Conference Final to go to the Cup Final, and then Saturday?
Yeah.
Like that's the top. I can't think of, I mean, when Vanderbilt baseball won,
it's a pretty big deal, but it wasn't.
I would say 2014 was a bigger deal than 2019.
Absolutely.
Because by 2019, it was a little more expected than 2014.
Yep.
I'd say that's top 5,
Yeah, and it's
but this is bigger.
Yeah, I mean the Preds Western Conference final that Sunday afternoon was downtown was off the chain. It was amazing, amazing. I don't know, just something about Saturday night, Alabama when it happened, all that was going on, and it just I don't know, maybe because it's the freshest thing on my mind. But growing up here like you did and Dr. Crane did, it's just to see that happening on against Alabama is just I don't know. It's almost you can't put it in words, and that's the beauty of this.
No, it's like there's no question. And here's the best part about all of this. When you look at the 5 games that Vandy has played so far this year, they could have won all of them. Like they should, Georgia State aside, but like Missouri, that's an overtime game. I mean, they haven't lost. The games they've lost, they lost to Georgia State by 4, Missouri by 3.
Yep.
I mean,
Georgia State hurts.
Georgia State hurts. But here's what I'm going to ask, and I don't know if we're going to get a chance to talk to Clark Lee this week. I'd love to. I know he's going to be on Robbie and Rex Road, I believe Wednesday, and he's on tomorrow with the midday show with DVD. But not that you and follow me on this.
Got you, buddy.
You want to beat Georgia State. You want that one back. That one hurts. That's one, at the end of the day, you're going to go like, hey, we need to have that one back. But I remember a comment he made earlier in the week that he didn't like how they showed up like at the beginning of the week, that they kind of came in a little too confident, and they kind of had to clean that up. And it got a little better as the week went on. But then as you watch that game and how they played, you could tell they went in a little too confident. And I'm wondering, do you get the response at Missouri and then the subsequent response against Alabama if you don't get humbled a little bit by Georgia State? I'm not saying you had to lose to Georgia State to beat Alabama. I'm just saying, did they learn a valuable lesson and get humbled? I
think so. I mean, that's your first road game. You expected to win. You're 2 and everybody's talking about you. Yeah, that's a good point. Because you go down there and you got beat.
Because you beat Alcorn. Because like, think about it. It's like, oh, hey, we beat Alcorn State 55-0. What's Georgia State? We'll take care of them.
And we debated on this show about why the hell are you going down there to play them?
Right.
Why are you going down there? You saw what happened. Maybe so. But the way they lost at Georgia State there in the last minute is crushing too as well.
Right.
Then you played Missouri to the wire, and then you come out and you beat Alabama on Saturday. You beat Alabama on Saturday. So possibly, man, sports is a humbling game. All the games that they play are humbling. Football, we play football, basketball, baseball, hockey, on and on. So they got it. Now, the problem becomes, and Clark Lee talked about this, hey, we're going to celebrate Sunday. Monday, we're back to work.
It's back to business because you got to worry about Kentucky now.
But I'm telling you, Bama Twitter, Saturday night, Kalen DeBoer's honeymoon's over. And you Bama fans consider and say, oh, well, nah, because Saban lost the first year to Louisiana Monroe in 2007. It ain't the same, folks. Y'all know that. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And now you see what happened. So congrats to Vandy, man. I never thought I'd sit here and say this.
Take just a guess. Now, I just looked at this while we're on the air. What do you think the line is Saturday night at Kentucky?
Pick 'em.
Not even close. I'm shocked by this.
Kentucky 14.
13.5.
Kentucky's good.
But I mean, Vanderbilt's showing you they're pretty good too.
Hey, if I'm Clark Lee, us against the world, baby.
Yeah. I would have that up on the bulletin board. Just put minus 13 or plus 13.5.
And then guys like, wait, what's that talking about, coach? It's like,
you know what it's talking about.
You know exactly.
Don't act like you don't.
You know exactly what it is. Oh, that's great. So
but I mean, now you're in a really interesting situation if you're Vanderbilt. You got 3 wins.
You beat Ball State. I'll give you Ball State.
Ball State should give you 4. I think they can go to Kentucky and win that game. Kentucky's a good football team, and it's becoming a tough place to play.
Mm-hmm. South Carolina's imploding as we speak.
South Carolina's imploding, and I think Auburn is too.
Oh, yes.
So Auburn and South Carolina to me are gettable.
Is that Auburn game there?
Yeah.
Okay.
At LSU, that's LSU's not what I think they want to be, but they're still pretty good.
Yep.
And then Tennessee's always a toss-up.
Real quick on the Tennessee thing. If Tennessee somehow loses to Florida on Saturday, they're done.
They're done. Yep.
Because Alabama's pissed off now. They know what happened. They're going to come in. Alabama's still a great football team. Then you got to go to Georgia. And then after that, I mean, you're a couple of losses. So that Tennessee game right now, it's like, let's wait and see the week off.
Yeah. Look, Texas is the best team in the country by far. They should have not, like last week when they put Alabama number 1, I'm like, y'all are stupid. Like Texas should be number 1. So we'll save that talk for when it gets here. But I mean, it's a fantastic weekend. They should celebrate. Steve wants to weigh in on this. Let's get to Steve real quick. What's up, Steve?
Hey guys, grew up here just like you guys, and I'm a huge Vanderbilt fan. I'm with the MTSU. I love the Blue Raiders, but my dad took me to Vandy games all my life. And what's so wild, Big Joe, is I was talking to my girlfriend who's from Queens, and she doesn't really follow football. And I was trying to tell her, I was just telling her, I think this is the biggest sporting event that's ever happened in this city. And the reason I say that, Chase, and I agree with Big Joe, is the Titans were really good that year. They came back and had the Music City Miracle. And the year that the Preds got to the finals, to the Cup, they were really good. Nobody but these players thought Vanderbilt was going to win this game. Nobody. And I think it's the biggest sporting event that's ever happened in Nashville.
Great point, Steve. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Steve. Good call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the thing. People, like he says, girlfriends from Queens, they don't give a darn about college football up there, which is fine because it's all New York City. I mean, I get all that. But down here, like he's talking about in our city, I'm telling you, man, that's me, my thoughts. And that was the greatest sports night. I guess going down Broadway and the goalpost added to all of it, but it's Vanderbilt, man. You grew up a Vanderbilt fan.
Yeah.
We all kind of, in a weird way, grew up Vanderbilt fans if you're in Nashville. And so to see that, amazing.
I put it on Twitter, but I got a few texts from people. Todd was one of them. Because immediately, like, I got a little teary-eyed when the final, horn hit, because the first person I thought about was my dad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he is ear to ear grinning, right now. Like, bleep those Crimson Tide. Like, I like, and so that, I've talked before on the show of like, there are those moments where obviously I wish he was here every day, but like moments like that, I wish, he could have seen that and been here with me. I know he saw it, but it just, that was, but it made me, at the same time, it gave me a smile.
Oh,
because it was like, I know he's loving this right now. And his dad too, like my grandfather, he used to tell me that they had their seats on the old berm, like at the, in the end zone. And the joke would be, there was a payphone right outside. If you don't know what a payphone is, look it up.
Yeah.
Right outside on the concourse. And by the third quarter, my grandfather would get up, walk to the payphone, call Jimmy Kelly's, and they go, "Hey, Mr. Charlie, we'll get your table ready." Because they'd be ready to go.
Don't look now, but you just talked yourself into it.
What?
The greatest sports night.
Yeah, I may have.
You just talked yourself. I love it. I love it.
Have. You're right. You're right. Coming up next, I told Brett Kern texted me and goes, "So what are we going to talk about on Monday?" I go, "Vandy." we'll get his thoughts on that, plus the upcoming Titans week as well. It's Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025, 1063 The Game. I will call Dr. Candace Lee myself and say, give Clark Lee a 10-year extension. That's the biggest win you've ever had and probably the biggest win you're ever going to get. Give that man an
Ever.
extension.
At least my time on this
and
planet.
Jerry Kill, too. He should probably.
Yeah, get them all.
I have not called Dr. Lee yet, but I'm working on it. Because I'm a man of my word, and I will tell her to give him a 10-year extension.
Why are you calling Clark's dad? Clark Lee's dad, the doctor.
Okay, you're right, but I met Dr. Candace Lee.
Look at that. I know.
That's good.
Mike, you look, man, you will a big stick around here. If you need to start taking advantage of that and calling people and doing some things.
Yeah, well,
like Tony
it's all
Soprano.
because I have people to tell me what to do, even though I already know what I'm doing.
You're like Tony Soprano.
Yeah, that's me.
Just who are you going to whack? First person. Who is it going to be? Plaster?
No, no Plaster's
Willie?
fine.
Who are you going to get, man?
No, I don't know. Plus, why would I tell you?
Exactly right, man.
You
Then
got
it's me
head on a swivel. No, it's not you.
or Brett Kern.
I got a
It's-
wine bottle trick I'll show you later,
It's
Chase.
not Brett. What? Wait, what?
Excuse me?
It's a wine bottle trick. It's like a gesture thing at the dinner table. I'll tell you another day.
Somebody's been to a gentleman's club.
I
this
guess.
weekend.
I don't know. Let's bring in Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who is on the line with us. Brett, what a wild Saturday night in Nashville it was.
Pretty crazy. I'm more impressed that they got that goalpost. According to Google Maps, 2.6 miles and roughly a 200-foot climb as you descend down Broadway towards the Cumberland. So that's pretty impressive. That's quite the haul to lug those orange yellow posts around. So pretty impressive.
What's the most memorable upset win you were ever a part of in your career, whether it was college or pro?
Oh man. I think 2017 going to Arrowhead in that first playoff game.
That's
I
what
don't
I
think
thought
we were
you'd say.
expected to win that one. And then I also think, going to Baltimore when they were the 1 seed in 2019, obviously beating the Patriots the week before, but I think the way we beat Baltimore, I feel like that was not expected. And so I think those two games, probably the biggest upsets I've been a part of.
What about the in Arrowhead? I think it was a regular season game when it was like 0, and was it Suck Up had to hit the 50-yarder to win the game?
Oh, yeah, I'm still falling out from that game. That was cold. I think that one was big just because that extended our opportunity. As far as trying to get to the playoff. Fortunately, the next week, with the Jacksonville loss, I think that's the game that Marcus broke his foot and kind of ended that. But that was definitely at the time, that was definitely a huge game. And I think, for this game this weekend for Vanderbilt, I mean, golly, that's got to be one of the biggest upsets. I think, if you're looking at the Titans and Music City Miracle, I think a caller referenced earlier, the Titans were 13-3 that year. So I think to be in that situation probably wasn't expected. And then for the miracle to happen was obviously really special. And then, for the Preds run, you kind of felt the hype. You go up to Chicago, in that series, you sweep them, right? And so you're kind of building this momentum, this anticipation of, hey, can this happen? Then you go beat the Blues, right? And you're like, okay, here we are in the Western Conference Finals. And you pretty much, Anaheim was a tough series, physical series, but you win, right? So there's this, with the playoffs, there's this anticipation where Vandy Saturday night, I don't think there's many people that would have thought Vanderbilt would have pulled it off. So it was more of that surprise element that I think with the other two wasn't necessarily there. The miracle was obviously a surprise with the actual play, but the expectations going in to the playoffs were probably a lot different compared to Vanderbilt, playing Alabama. Right. And so I think for the pure excitement, joy, surprise, probably for a lot of people, obviously, I don't know if anything really tops that.
Absolutely. Talking to Brett Kern, former Titans punter. All right, Brett, you go back to 2017. You guys beat the Chiefs. Now you got to go, first road win for the Titans in decades. Then you got to go to New England and play the Patriots and Tom Brady that year. What was Monday like at the facility? How quickly did Malarkey and staff put that out of y'all's mind to focus on what's ahead?
Pretty quickly. I just remember, after the game, and a lot of times with most games, it's especially road trips, even home games, It's, hey, let's enjoy this victory. 24-hour rule. I think that's pretty common amongst most teams. Hey, take 24 hours, enjoy this. Just think back about, the good plays, even things that we can improve upon, but just enjoy that feeling of victory. And so for Kansas City, it's 24 hours. You got the plane ride back. You're celebrating with the guys on the plane, and you come home to the family. Everybody's excited. And, I remember, after Kansas City, my wife and, our oldest, my son, were at the game. So to be able to celebrate, in the parking lot with them was really, really special. And so, 24-hour rule. And I think the same thing applies to Vandy because there's so much emotion and celebrating and all that kind of stuff. And, before you know it, you get to, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're exhausted, right? But you still have another game. Now you got to go up to Lexington in a game that I think they could win, right? I think they've set expectations to where, hey, you know what, we're for real. We got a dog at quarterback, like who's just a baller. And it's coming off, being at New Mexico State in 10-win seasons. Like the guy he wants to win, right? And he's brought that excitement in a leadership position at Vanderbilt. And so, so now there comes expectations of, hey, you beat the number one team in the country. A lot of people don't think you can do it. So then how are you going to respond, right? And so it's got to be quick. It's probably harder for college kids because there is so much excitement. You're celebrating with, your classmates, and you got the vibes on campus, walking around campus. But it has to be short because, the SEC schedules, a gauntlet, and I know they have goals. But in order to do that, you got to enjoy it for 24 hours, have a short memory, and get ready to play.
They might have goals, but not goalposts. Brett Kern's with us this morning on the Chase and Big Joe show. All right, I'm so glad you're on this morning, Brett, because I was thinking about you yesterday. During the 49ers-Cardinals game, the kicker gets injured. The punter's got to do the kicking, and they have no holder. And they're trying to practice on the sidelines, and they can't get it down. I mean, it was just chaos, and it affected the way Shanahan called the game. When you were with the Titans, did you guys have a backup holder?
Yes. So it depends. It depends on kind of the coach. It depends on the coach. Depends on the coordinator. Kind of how often you want to rep it. I've been, with when I had Ackerman for those years. I mean, he always had people, come over. Hey, just get some holds before practice. Hey, get 5 or 10 holds. Get this, get that, right? And you're kind of always repping it. Some teams probably they never think that's going to happen, and that's just kind of a lack of preparation. But yeah, I mean, we always a couple times, I'd go out there and hit an extra point. It wasn't pretty, but you just got to be ready because you never know when something's going to happen, when someone's going to get hurt, and then the next thing if you can't go out there and make a short field goal, extra point's a little bit harder. 38-yard field goal is that's not a chippy compared to the old extra point days when I didn't mind if I had to go in there and do that. But I mean, sometimes you have your backup quarterback. Tannehill repped it. I remember Logan Woodside would rep it all the time. Sometimes you have a receiver that can come in and do it, depending. But we always repped it just because you never know what happens, and obviously it affected the game, and you never want that to happen.
Did you feel bad for the Bengals holder? Because, I mean, it just went right through his hands.
That's tough. Yeah, I tell you what, that ball looked slicker than snot. That thing was bright red. He probably had the dye of that football still on his hands. And so for me, that's why, for the most part, I always wore a glove on my left hand, just because when you're catching that football and you're bringing it down, right? I'm trying to explain this, but the pressure from your right hand trying to put it down on the spot, doing that puts a lot on your left. And so if your left hand's not in the right position or it is slick, right, that ball will just, it'll just ramp right off that left hand and it'll do what it did for the Bengals game. So I always wore a glove on that left hand to prevent that ball from sliding. That's probably my recommendation to him to do that. But that's just unfortunate. Probably could have gotten away with that if it was a shorter field goal. Because Evan did a really good job of staying with it and trying to kick it. But yeah, that's unfortunate. But from 54 yards, everything has to be pretty much spot on perfect to make that field goal.
So how long do you have from snap to hold to turn the laces to where the kicker wants it? Like, what is that, like a second? How long is that?
Yeah, I mean, usually, you want to be 1.25, 1.3 seconds, your operation total. And so, There's some guys that are a little bit longer. They can get into the 1.35s, which depending on who's rushing on the outside, that can kind of become an issue, just timing wise. But you want to stay around 1.25 to 1.3 is probably perfect. And obviously if the laces aren't perfect, you have not a lot of time to get that thing around to 12 o'clock. Because like I said, the heaviest part of the football are the laces. And so, if those laces are out, we use it like a clock, right? So 12 o'clock is perfect. 6 o'clock that's a no-no, right? And you can see that on TV clearly that the laces are back. And sometimes it just means the ball won't go as far, right? Because you're not hitting the sweet spot on the panels, and so you're hitting the laces instead. So that might take off. It could take off 5 to 10 yards if you're hitting just the laces, but it shouldn't affect it, turning left or right. But if the laces are pointing towards 9 o'clock on the clock, there's a good chance that ball's going to hook left. If the laces are at the holder 3 o'clock, there's a good chance that thing's going to cut a little bit more. So just little details, as far as where those laces are, really affects, especially the longer you go back and the farther that ball is traveling in the air, it can really affect the kick, whether you make it or not.
Yeah, very, very interesting for sure. Real quick, before we let you go, the Titans will come back from the bye week. How much emphasis needs to be on punt team, because they've had a rough time this year?
Yeah, I think you just need to go back, technique wise, right? I think, the stuff that they've given up, Gibby not sitting in Chicago, Chestnut, he fell for that up and under and really set outside instead of protecting his inside. And then obviously to allow, that tip punt in Miami with Calais Campbell, your guards are young, right? I think it was Harrell and Gibby, you got a rookie in there and, second year guy. And so, depending, it looked like he came from that right gap, that right A gap. And so my guess is Morgan Cox probably set left. Maybe Gibby just didn't get over there in time to put, and Calais. That's why as the Dolphins, you're rushing that, right? You get a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", coming flying up that A gap. And, that's a hard thing. Stonehouse could have hit that ball straight up in the air, and I still think he would have tipped it, right? Because he's so tall. I think, teams are going to start, going after the young guys on that punt team, I think. And there's some young guys, and you have a lot of vets, but, they're going to come after the young guys that are really just trying to figure out, technique and all that kind of stuff. And so I think over the bye week, you just break down, Colt and the crew just break down technique. You get the boards out, you work on your setting, you help in your punch hand, all that kind of stuff, so they can really solidify that wall back there for Stoney to let him go out there and do the best that he can.
For sure. Brett, appreciate it as always. We will talk to you next week, hopefully after another win for the Titans.
Yeah, I'm glad you came to work today. You're still not celebrating. So, I was all those Vandy fans out there. That's awesome, and enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it.
All right, see you.
Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joins us every Monday for a reaction. Appreciate him. We'll react to some of that, plus take more of your reaction. Vanderbilt's win over Alabama, 615-737-1025. It's Chase and Big Joe here on a Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When you come to our house, we show you how to play some SEC ball. It don't matter where you're from. You're going to know what ball we play. Alabama, you're next.
Sorry, man. Who would have thunk that 7 years ago? I mean, Saturday night, and I was talking to our friend Justin Beasley. I mean, my phone was just people like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "It was 7 years ago."
It went viral again. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 the game. All right, so that was after what game?
Kansas State game in 2017. Kansas State was ranked like 17th. Vandy beat a really good Kansas State, and they were 3-0.
Yeah.
So we got him on the field and says, "Hey, man, what's this like for the program?" That's when he did it, and then Bama beat him next week 59-0, and it's just been.
And was it our buddy Larry Leathers sent out a note
Yeah.
that said, "Hey, there will be no more on-field interviews."
No more. And I replied back to all like, "Oh, what happened?" And so it just took off. Like my son-in-law down in Mississippi was like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "Matt, I've told you that for 7 years. That's me." And then it just, I think one of the maybe ESPN or Fox or somebody had it and just took off. And it's just crazy how things don't die anymore. And that was us, man. It just took off.
By the way, because I stalk you and I keep up with your every move, happy birthday to your lovely daughter, Hannah, who is going to be a mom here very, very soon.
I told her wait to the 25th because that's my birthday. And plus I got an MTSU game on the 23rd. And then we got
you're just telling your
10 days off.
Do we know what it is yet?
Yeah, it's a girl.
A girl. Okay,
Yeah.
That's right.
So her birthday, I had to come back last night, and then I saw her in Mississippi, and then she turns 26 tomorrow, and she's miserable. I mean, she's 9 months pregnant, and I'm like, "You're miserable. think about me for the last 30 years, how fat I am, what I've had to carry around." So I don't want to hear this. No, she's beautiful, and thank you for that. And we're looking forward to the a healthy arrival. Praise the Lord here in a few
I
weeks.
cannot wait for Grandpa Big Joe.
Yeah, Grampy.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun for sure. But 615-737-1025, your reaction to Vanderbilt's win over Alabama. 0115 said, "Let's all go also give Candace Lee some love here, as well as Coach Lee." We have. I mean, look, she's had a difficult job being the athletic director of an academic institution that plays in the SEC.
Yeah.
And, you now look at her watch. Let's see. When did she take over?
Oh, my goodness. 18 or 19, maybe?
I feel like it was after, because they brought in that idiot that
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Malcolm Smith.
Turner.
Malcolm Turner. Okay.
Yeah, he came in for a little bit. Yeah.
Show.
It did not do. I mean, it was not right.
No.
And then she takes over, and so I mean, brought in Clark, who understands the program. It's the biggest win in Vanderbilt history, and so yeah, she definitely deserves.
Yeah, and I was one of like, all right, if this Clark Lee experiment doesn't work out, don't always find an alumnus to come back and take over your program. It didn't work with Watson Brown, not at all, in the mid '80s, and and now Clark's back and get something else. But look, man, and we had a texter earlier like NIL has changed college football forever.
Yep,
and he's right.
Now all you got to do is find your next Pavia every year. I mean, they don't have Diego Pavia. We're not having this conversation right now.
I remember I texted you during the Virginia Tech game and said, look, we saw him at MTSU. Between the 15s, he's unstoppable. But once you close the field out, it's really tough for him to kind of get in the end zone. He's got to figure out a way to get there, and he's done that.
He's doing that.
Quick passes. Look, that fourth down call on Saturday, bells.
Yeah.
Clark Lee's got bells to do that.
Yep.
That would have old Vanderbilt would have never done that.
No. But I mean, I heard Robbie say it, and I've heard other people say it. Like, you watch Pavia play, that's a dog. That's a dog right there. I mean, like, he's got it. And he goes after it every time. So, having Jerry Kill as a part of the coaching staff, I think was a brilliant move. So, you can't say enough about it for sure. We'll continue to react to it. Plus, for the 10 o'clock hour. So check this out. We have a pair of tickets before you can buy them to see Dude Perfect Hero World Tour at Bridgestone Arena on Sunday, August 3rd. This is next year. But this is how you're going to earn these. And this should be pretty easy after this weekend. Who's the perfect dude from this weekend? You can text in. We'll take text entries throughout the rest of the show. 615-737-1025. Your perfect dude from the weekend in sports. And the best one will award a winner to see Dude Perfect Hero World Tour at Bridgestone Arena on Sunday, August 3rd. Tickets will go on sale Wednesday at 10 o'clock, so you can win them before you can buy them. It's Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3. The Game on a Monday. Titans off. Vanderbilt beats Alabama. Cats and dogs getting along. All these things.
I mean, what in the world's going on? I'm telling you. Somehow, somewhere in Dr. Crane, you've read the Revelations. All this is somewhere in the Revelations. I don't know what book it
maybe.
is, but it's in there.
By the way, thinking about everybody down in the coast, the Gulf Coast, as another hurricane, this time Milton, Category 4, that's just been sitting in the Gulf, just growing, is looking like it's headed towards the Tampa area and that side of Florida. The Predators preseason game against Tampa in Tampa that had been rescheduled from Helene ultimately has been canceled. They were supposed to be there tonight, and obviously bigger things than hockey going on. And so a good move by Tampa and the Preds and the NHL to go ahead and just not worry about that game so they can focus on the bigger picture. So definitely thinking about everybody. I just saw the Bucks are relocating to New Orleans to kind of get out of the way as the hurricane comes through. So again, just thoughts and prayers with everybody down there.
Absolutely. You have a good question out there because we're giving away tickets, correct?
Yeah.
Again.
Our question today is, who is your perfect dude after this weekend of football? And the best one will win a pair of tickets before you can buy them to see Dude Perfect Hero World Tour at Bridgestone Arena on Sunday, August 3rd. Tickets will go on sale Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So text in 615-737-1025. Jim says it's Pavia and everyone else is second. I don't know how it can't be Diego Pavia after that. I mean, it could be Clark Lee, like it could, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think Pavia.
I got to give on the national scale, Dak Prescott. It's pretty good last night. That game was amazing.
Those picks were terrible, though.
I know, but still, they could have.
So we had late night. We had Good Morning Football, basically. Is what it was, which we had a London game. Like I woke up at 9 and I was seeing all these posts about Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's a London game on. So I turned it on, and had some coffee. That was good. But stayed up, obviously, watched the Cowboys and the Steelers. You know what blew my mind? What stat absolutely blew my mind? So this is one of the greatest rivalries in the NFL because of their Super Bowl meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time since 1982 that the Steelers and Cowboys had played in prime time. Can you believe that?
Is that accurate?
It was Monday Night Football, 1982.
That's when Bradshaw was still there.
Was the last
Danny
time.
White.
Yeah, it was the last
Holy
time.
cow, I didn't think about that.
That they played in prime time.
I mean, I'm thinking last night as I'm listening to the game, what two teams in the NFL elicit that kind of passion response?
Cowboys and Steelers. I mean, it's
nostalgia. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you think about, and you lived it, you have to actually watch it, but like all those Super Bowl matchups that they had against each other, you had, you kind of had the pretty boy, like Bradshaw used to call them the pretty boys. And then you had the hard working gruff team of the Steelers.
Yeah.
They showed this side by side of Tom Landry and like the long coat and the hat and the suit, and then Chuck Noll and his, his just regular stuff and everything. Two of the greatest coaches of all time.
Right.
And then now you got McCarthy and Tomlin.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. Somebody says a dude that needs to be honored. When I think about this, Clark Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see? Thank you, Jay Robinson on Twitter. It says Vanderbilt goalpost pieces were sold out overnight.
Yeah, so they did. They put the auction out.
Great.
And they're going to auction off, I think, pieces of football, game balls, other things that were part of the win, for everything. And but yeah, I knew they were going to cut the. Now the joke was they were going to cut the goalposts up, auction it off to pay the fine that's coming. Listen, I'm going to say this. You talk about Dr. Lee, Dr. Candace Lee. I'm sure she has never been more excited to receive a fine from the SEC than the one she's going to get coming up later this week.
Right. So Vanderbilt money is like us, right? It's like $100,000. This is like change in
That's
the
gonna be the
console.
best. That's gonna be the best check they've ever cut.
Change in the console for us.
Dear,
there's 50
dear
cents.
Dr. Lee, you were being fined for entering the playing surface, the goalposts, all these things. Signed, Greg Sankey. Let's pay it. Let's go.
So, with that being said, why the hell did Arkansas fans rush the field?
Yeah, I didn't really get that. Like,
I mean, good for them.
you've
If
beaten
I'm
them
there, I'd
5
do it.
years in a row.
Yeah, if I'm there, I would have done the same thing, probably. But I was just curious with like, all right, you beat Tennessee.
Now they had those. It looked like they had the fancy goalposts that lay down. Like the
oh, did they?
Yeah, I think they laid them
Arkansas
down.
money.
Yeah,
Walmart money over there. Exactly right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, they'll get fined too for all that.
But Kevin Ingram had a great picture of him, like by the goal. What was left of the goal? I mean, they broke that sucker clean off.
Good for
Like,
them.
It was awesome.
What's going to happen? They beat Texas.
And tear the other one down.
I mean, Texas comes in rolling number 1. You beat Texas. I mean, think about that. I mean, this now it's up to the possibility of what goes on and on and on. And Texas rolls in here in 2 or 3 weeks. They very well be number 1.
Should Vandy be ranked?
No.
I didn't. I thought. I mean, I
2
think
losses.
I
You're
think
3
I
and 2.
saw their 30th.
Okay.
But like, they got a few votes for the top 25 and everything. But yeah.
You don't lose to Georgia State, you're maybe 15th. I'm not kidding.
Oh, you don't lose to Georgia State, you're in the top 25, no question. You beat Missouri, you're in the top 25.
Yep.
I mean, you got 1 loss, you're in. Like, there's no doubt. And I think I saw Tennessee drop to 9th, Bama dropped to 7th, Georgia's back up to 4th, which is crazy to me.
So Texas, Ohio State, Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then game days over in we said game days over in Oregon this weekend
Because they play Ohio State, right?
Right.
Oh,
Huge
that's
game.
gonna be
And so
a great game.
congrats. I've been down in the NFL all year, as you well know, about not being fun or electric, but from Thursday to Sunday, including college football, it was one of the best weekends for football I think we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Go back to the Falcons game on Thursday. Saturday was amazing. The Cal Miami game. Holy cow. I mean, Cal's up by 80 points and they lose. And then, of course, everything that happened in college football. And then Sunday, the Bengals and the Ravens game, amazing. 49ers and Cardinals game, amazing. Steelers, Cowboys, amazing. I'm leaving. Houston and Buffalo.
Yeah, it was.
So a lot of, football, take a bow. It was great.
All right, so coming up next, I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
I'm going to go through the top 10 in college football.
Truth or dare?
Yeah, we can do truth or dare.
Okay.
I'm going to go through the top 10 in college football, and I want you to tell me if they're for real or if they're a fraud.
Love it.
And then I'm going to do the same with the NFL.
Okay, I like that.
Because I think we're at that point in both seasons where
Okay.
you kind of know who's real, who's not.
You scared me with the games. I thought you might have said spin the bottle.
No,
So
we're not doing that. And also keep your texts coming. Perfect dude of the weekend for a chance to win Dude Perfect tickets. 615-737-1025. It's the Chase and Big Joe Show. 1025, 1063 The Game.
Obviously, you know how much this means to me. I love our university. I love our city. I love our program. This is why I came back. It's meant to be emotional because, again, I bled a lot into this, and it just feels great to be able to celebrate with the team that I love and care about.
That was Clark Lee after the win Saturday night over Alabama. You can hear the emotion in his voice, and he deserves it. Yeah, congratulations to you, Coach. Definitely deserve everything.
Amen.
After that win. 615-737-1025. The perfect dude from the weekend. We'll take your text on that for a chance to win Dude Perfect tickets. But I said, all right, we're going to play for real or not for real or fraud or however you want to
go,
put it
baby.
when it comes to college football and the NFL. All right, so we'll go through the top 10 in college football. I might even pick out some outside of the top 10. Number 1, Texas.
Very real.
They're very much 100% for real. Number 2, Ohio State.
Not sold on it yet. I got to see what they do. They've played no one.
Yeah.
So let's see what goes on Saturday night.
I think this weekend is going to be the test. Oregon State. Oregon.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't scare me like that. Same as Ohio State.
Yeah.
I got to see what happens. You got to play somebody finally.
I was wrong. I was thinking of the coaches poll in the AP top 25. There is a different number 4, and I'm not sold yet. Penn State.
Whew. Yeah.
They're winning, but to me, this just screams your typical James Franklin that they're not blowing out the teams they should. They're kind of messing around. They find a way to win, and then when they actually play the good teams, they're going to not win.
Do they? I'm looking at their schedule. Do they play Ohio State down the pipe? I think
so. Yeah. They play them on November 2nd.
Okay.
They got to go to USC, which I think they'll beat USC, but I don't know. They go to USC this weekend, and they're at Wisconsin. Then they play Ohio State.
They got an easy schedule.
They play Washington at home, and then so they got a favorable schedule.
I'm 50-50 right now. I got to put my James Franklin hate aside, but I think I'm 50-50 right now.
The 4-1 Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Yeah,
I mean, they are. They're a good football team. And people are like, oh, they beat Auburn. That's Auburn's like Super Bowl playing Georgia and Alabama. Of course you're going to be up for all that. And Georgia just put them away and moved on.
The 6-0 Miami Hurricanes.
Something's going on with that team.
Yep.
Something's going on, and they should have lost to Virginia Tech. They didn't. Should have lost to Cal. They didn't. Something going on there. Best team money could buy.
They're that team that people are going to mess around and find out.
Yeah.
I kind of think they're that team. The 7th ranked 4-1 Alabama Crimson Tide.
They'll be back.
Yep. They're still a good team.
They got punched in the face. Now they got to get
them
up.
off.
Then they got to get up. They got to get up. And I think they came really cocky in the Nashville. And I think they were showing the door. I think this could be a good loss.
The rest of college football might hate Vanderbilt when this is all said and done because the Giant might have woken up.
Yeah, that's right.
So that could be it. The 8th ranked 4-1 Tennessee Volunteers.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. The arc.
They got exposed.
Yeah. I mean, they beat Oklahoma on the road, which was a great win. You had a week off, didn't you?
Yeah, you had a week off. Here's a moment that I am very curious about, and Kirk Herbstreit talked about it. That last play of the game, Nico's trying to make a play with his legs, and I respect that. But dude, you don't have time. Get rid of the ball. Throw it out. Get rid of the ball. The play's not there. Get rid of it. Give yourself another play.
Right.
He took a play away by trying to be the hero, and I respect it. Like I'm not dogging him for that.
Mm-hmm. You got to know better.
But you got to have more awareness. And Herbstreit was saying the same thing. He goes, he's young. He'll learn. He's young. And I think that's what Vols fans, I think Nico is everything is advertised.
Really?
But he's shown, no, I do. I just think he's young. I think he's showing that he's a freshman. Even though he's a redshirt freshman, he's showing he doesn't have the experience.
Well, I think another problem is, and I'm going to get a lot of Tennessee hate for this, I don't care, is that y'all have anointed him as the greatest thing since Peyton Manning after 7 games or whatever. And it's like, so he ran out of bounds. It just didn't think. I mean, it's like, oh, run out of bounds. I'm the greatest. I'll be fine. And I hear he's a humble, nice kid. I get all that. But when you open up your phone and you read how great you are every single day, that's tough. I mean, didn't Milton did it? He ran out of bounds against Ole Miss, or Hooker, one of the two did. Was it Milton? Kamara ran out of bounds against Vanderbilt on 4th and 10, stepped out of bounds.
Right. Got to have that awareness.
Yeah, be aware where you are.
All right, the 5-1 Ole Miss Rebels.
I saw them up close, and they were a fine oiled machine. The Kentucky punches them in the face. Then they go to South Carolina and just punish South Carolina. I don't know. I've seen, no.
I think they're for real. I think they got cocky. And you can't.
Definitely got out coached.
Yeah, and in the SEC in college football today, even with a 12-team playoff, I think here's what I think you're seeing right now. You're seeing some false sense of security because teams like Bama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, all these teams and Georgia, obviously the tough schedule, all these teams that now have a blemish on their record, are kind of like you and I out on the golf course. Oh, we got a mulligan.
Right.
We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. You have one mulligan. Like, you get one.
Yeah.
You don't get 5. And so I think they all kind of had this false sense of security, and they got punched in the mouth, and now they got to wake up.
Yep.
I think Ole Miss will wake up. So.
Well, they better. They got Georgia and Texas they got to face.
And then finally in 10th, 4-1 Clemson Tigers.
Oh, I hope they come back and win it all, and everybody's got to eat crow.
I'd eat some crow. I mean, I did not think they were a good team.
So who's 11? If Clemson is 10, who's 11?
There's a tie. Iowa State at 5-0, and then Notre Dame at 4-1.
Oh man, I know Notre Dame beat A&M. A&M's looking good lately.
Yeah. LSU's 13th, 4-1. Then BYU at 5-0. A&M at 5-1 and 15th. Then Utah, Boise. Boise's pretty good.
Yep.
Indiana, Oklahoma, K-State, Missouri, Pittsburgh, Illinois, Michigan, SMU.
So we got 2 group of 5 teams in there. Boise and SMU.
Yep.
That SMU's ACC now. My bad.
Yeah, you're right.
My bad, Dr. Crane. Don't get
You're
upset at me. That's a nice win by SMU over Louisville on Saturday. So that's it's the drop off is
you can see it. You can see it.
It's pretty big after like 10. It's something else. But good for Indiana. Good for Iowa State. Is Iowa State unbeaten?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, how is that guy Matt Campbell still there? Well, I don't understand. Look, I visited Iowa State in college. It's not and don't hate me, Iowa State fans. I love you. Not a fun place to be in January and February and March and April.
Yeah.
It's just not. And the fact he's doing what he's doing there, that's a hell of a coach.
Yep, I agree. All right, real quick in the NFL, we're going to do the same thing by division. Buffalo.
No, they look so disinterested.
So. Yeah. Jets, no. Dolphins,
nope.
No. Patriots, no. Baltimore.
Absolutely.
I think so too. They stole one yesterday for sure, but a win's a win.
That's right.
At the end of the day. Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I actually think so too. Cleveland.
Nope.
Cincinnati.
Nope.
Houston.
See a little bit more. They're winning some close games, but I need to see a little bit more.
I think they might be. Indy, no. Titans, no. Jacksonville, no. KC.
Yep.
Denver.
No.
Chargers.
Yes.
I think it
got something going.
They gotta get it on the same page, but they're getting there. Even though they've lost 2 in a row. Raiders.
No. God, no.
Commanders.
Got to see some more, but it's trending in the good way.
They not only have the rookie of the year, he's an MVP candidate.
Got a hell of a coach.
Yep.
Hell of a backup quarterback up there.
Everybody, by the way, Jared, everybody that told me Dan Quinn wasn't a good coach, just watch what they're doing right now.
Well, Jared's also the guy that says Anthony Richardson's a generational talent. He's
in the tub right now.
Not good.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I need to see more. Like Dak, I mean, those picks last night.
I know.
Really, I know they won.
That's an injured defense too.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. And they got beat up more last night. Eagles.
No, I
don't think so either.
Mm-mm.
I stand by my prediction going into this year. Mike Vrabel will be the next head coach of the Philadelphia
If he's
Eagles.
not the Browns' next head coach.
Yeah, could be. By the way, did you see Stefanski's quote
Which one?
last night after the game? We have to play better. I have to coach better.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, that concept. Do you have it? Play it.
Struggles of the offense. How much? Do you think significant changes are needed? Is there a quarterback change that you'll consider?
Yeah, we're not changing quarterbacks. We need to play better. I need to coach better. And that's really what it is.
That consulting's working.
There's a great movie that came out in the early 80s called Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where these pods would take over your body, and that's what's happening there. Vrabel's taking over.
I love it. The 5-0 Minnesota Vikings. Are you ready to say it?
They're not bad.
They're pretty good, man.
They're not bad.
They got Sam Darnold is what Sam Darnold is, but if I had Jefferson and Addison, I think I'd be pretty good too.
But if they had JJ McCarthy, they're not there.
No, this has worked out in their favor.
Darnold has seen ghosts, man. He's loving it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. 3-1 Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. 3-2 Green Bay Packers.
Yep. Big win yesterday.
3-2 Chicago Bears.
No.
They've won 2 in a row.
Look who they beat. Titans and who else? Carolina.
I don't know. Something to watch. 3-2 Atlanta Falcons.
There's a little, not yet.
I know, but there's something.
Yep.
3-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
I think so too. 2-2 New Orleans Saints.
I'll know more tonight.
Yeah, I think you'll learn something tonight. Panthers, no. we already know that. Seahawks at 3-2.
No,
Lost
I'm not.
2 in a row. I'm not sold on that.
And they lost the way to the Giants on that blocked field goal. I just no.
2-3 Arizona Cardinals. Maybe.
I mean, they're having fun. That team is having fun right now.
They're playing loose.
And that's the thing. They are the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the National Football League right now.
49ers.
I don't think so. I think this McCaffrey thing has really gotten into their heads.
Yeah, no.
It
was bound to catch up with them at some point, and I think it has.
Even when John Lynch came out and said, it was Achilles, and he'll be back when he's here. He's in Europe. Oh, he's in Europe getting looked at. Why do you need to go to Europe get looked at? We've got some amazing doctors here in America. I don't get it.
A team that I'm really surprised by, but the 1-4 Rams. They're not. They're just.
I think the salary cap caught up with them.
Yeah, I do too.
I think the injuries of Puka and Cooper Cup. Steve Cropper Cooper Cup. I think it's caught up with it, and I think Stafford is at the end. I just think he's just beat up and just tired, man. I think that's it.
Yeah.
So you got like 3 teams.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Kansas. And who comes out of the NFC? That'll be exciting to see who comes out of the NFC.
I mean, right now it's Minnesota.
Long way to go.
I'll say this. That fan base deserves something good. They've had so much heartbreak in their history.
0-4 in Super Bowls, all that goes on.
I mean, the Gary Anderson missed kick.
98. That team was so good.
I saw them firsthand, and I wish as a 12-year-old I appreciated it more, but to watch that team.
You do now, though.
No, I do now, but I wish I could remember more of that game.
I stood in the tunnel with Culpepper, Moss, Carter, and remember the offensive coordinator was on that team? Super Bowl champion coach.
It was Brian Billick.
Huge. He's like 6'10".
It wasn't Culpepper. It was Randall Cunningham. He was the starting quarterback.
Was it Culpepper there?
He may have been the backup, but Cunningham was the guy on that team. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was. I think Culpepper might have come the next year. But anyway, looking at Moss and Billick and Carter, I mean, this guy massive. I mean, Moss was he's skinny but so tall. But
Chris Carter. Yeah. No, he was not there. 99 was when Culpepper came in
from Central Florida. Was Corey Stringer, God rest his soul, on that team? Lineman from Ohio State that was massive. But anyway, they came to Vanderbilt and beat.
It was a closer game than I think.
Oilers were 8-6. They were in playoff contention.
Yeah,
and they lost that game. Then they lost next week to the Packers up in Green Bay. Finished at 8-8.
I thought that was the last. No, I think that was the last game of the year.
Oh, was it when they
Yeah.
lost the week before?
That was
then?
the last game as the Oilers. I'm pretty sure.
You might have been right, but I know the Packers either before or after that team. Damn it, Chase! Now I gotta go look this stuff up.
Yeah.
What did we do
It
before?
was December 26th at the Oilers. That was their last. They won 26-16 to go 15-1.
They lost. I mean, the Oilers lost.
The
that game.
Oilers
Yeah,
lost, but the Vikings won.
Okay, you're right because they beat Green Bay. They lost to Green Bay, and then they because I remember talking to Frank Wycheck about going up there in the snow, and they left him 1-on-1 with Reggie White. And I said,
wow.
what was that like? He's like, as bad as you expect it would be. I was like, oh yeah, 1-on-1 with Reggie White in the snow in Green Bay.
We will react more to the Vanderbilt win over Alabama. We will talk to the voice of the Commodores, Andrew Allegretta.
The final 3 seconds off the clock. That is going to do it. Storm the field, doors. Storm the field. For the first time, Vanderbilt knocks off the #1 team in America. My goodness, what a night. Vandy fans, have your moment.
That's how it sounded. 94.9 The Fan. That's where we are, the flagship for Vanderbilt athletics on both 102.5 and 94.9 The Fan. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The man that was on the call that got to live that moment, Andrew Allegretta, is on the line with us now. Andrew, I mean, have you come down from that mountain of a high that you were on during that call?
You know what? I joked. First off, how are we doing? Second, I was joking with someone like the euphoria wears off pretty fast when you go home like 2 hours later and have to like, you know, give your kid a bath and get him to bed and get the PJs on. Like that sort of stuff. Cruises right past you. So you better enjoy the moment.
So that I have to assume in your career that's by far the biggest call, biggest game you've ever been a part of, right?
Look, Chase, I'll be honest. First off, I hope I spent a lot of time trying to find a relatively quiet place on campus. It's hard to do here. We've got the cranes firing. We've got all of the construction. That churns along. I'm also not naive, Chase, like in all sincerity, there's a realistic chance that'll be the most significant thing that happens throughout the course of my career, whether it lasts, 5 more years or 40 or whatever. And I hope Vanderbilt continues to grow and continues to have big moments like that. That is all what we're striving for. But I mean, that is something that has not happened in a generation. And it's #1 and it's Alabama. And I'm looking at a football field that no longer has goalposts.
When do the new ones arrive?
Well, the plus is we do have 2 weeks. So they've what was interesting about the whole thing is, and I need to talk with somebody because every goalpost that I've seen come down rips out of the ground from the base. Ours like snaps at the curve, the hinge, like we snapped the metal. So I've got to figure out like what we do differently about our goalposts here. But I don't know. We've got a couple of weeks. I know it's been fished out of the Cumberland, and certainly it's available for purchase on VUCommodores.com in 2 or 4 inch slices.
That is fantastic.
I think it's sold out, Andrew.
Is it gone?
I think
I think so.
A tweet this morning. It's gone.
Okay, never mind.
That's all right, though. Get them on the secondary market. Andrew, let me ask you this. When did you know on Saturday something was happening? Because I told Chase earlier, I got a text from a friend of mine's Alabama fan after the first drive down the field that Vanderbilt had. He said, oh, no, I think Alabama's still in Tuscaloosa. When did you know something was happening?
No, that's a good question. I think my first instinct is the pick six. And I think what I noted about that particular moment was a season ago, we played Georgia here and we scored first and then we got a fumble and then we didn't score on the fumble. And what felt different about this moment is the same thing happened. We got the touchdown, we got the turnover, but we scored on the turnover. So instead of having all of this momentum and only being up 7-0, we were up 13-0 after that particular moment. So perhaps that was the moment where it felt a little bit different to me. I don't think I felt wildly different until we got toward the third quarter and Vanderbilt was able to start handling some haymakers that Alabama was throwing, because you knew those were coming. There was no way Alabama was going to get out of there without throwing a haymaker. And the fact that we absorbed them, I felt was pretty significant.
Also, the missed extra point, I'm telling you, on Twitter when that happened, everybody's like, it's Vanderbilt, here we go. And the fact they just kept the pedal to the metal was a beautiful thing, Andrew.
It was. And I think the one thing that got to me, guys, about the whole game is the fact, and there's so much, right? It's hard to choose one. But certainly way, way up there for me watching it unfold is the fact that they did not get the football back. They scored the touchdown on that fake, the flip to Williams, had way too much speed, got outside of Patterson, scored the touchdown, made it a 5-point game with like 2.5 to go. And you're thinking like, if they get the football back, like it might be Georgia State Part 2 on a much different scale. And the fact that we got a couple of first downs and they had the penalty, like, again, I know you guys have said it and it's been said a bunch, but like Vanderbilt took that game. Alabama had its chances and Vanderbilt went out and took that game from Alabama, and they did it right down at the end. by saying we've got the football with 2.5 minutes to go and you're not getting it back.
Andrew Allegretta is with us, voice of the Commodores. Diego Pavia is, I saw he was on Dan Patrick today. You know, he's becoming a household name. I mean, you watch that kid play, and I've heard the phrase, he's got that dog in him. He's a dog. I mean, it's got to be even more fun for you from your seat to be able to live this and watch him play football.
How about this stat? He is 35-13 in his college career as a starting quarterback. That's from New Mexico Military Institute to New Mexico State to now Vanderbilt. I've said it a bunch, but he is a self-made SEC starting quarterback. He was not at any sort of Elite 11 camps. They wouldn't have invited him if he wanted to go. He goes to New Mexico Military Institute. They say, maybe you're a quarterback. You also might be a running back. We don't know. We'll see how it goes. He makes himself a quarterback. How about this? This story is great to me, too. The fact that Tim Beck and Jerry Kill at New Mexico State intended to offer a quarterback a scholarship, a JUCO quarterback, and they went to go see that quarterback play in the JUCO National Championship. And that quarterback ended up losing to Diego Pavia, and Beck and Kill goes, you know what? We're going to take the other guy. We're going to take Diego. Like, the amount of times throughout the course of his career, he's hit a roadblock and he said to hell with it and run right through it is remarkable. And I'll be honest, guys, I was worried about the athleticism for Pavia translating to the SEC. It doesn't matter. Between the offense, the way that they run it, the sleight of hand, the play action, all of that sort of stuff, and just the pure will to win, which is completely unheard of here at Vanderbilt in generations. It doesn't matter that there's an athleticism gap. He's a special young man.
Well, I totally agree. Like, last year I saw him when I called the MTSU New Mexico State game, and one of the comments was from the middle guys like, we couldn't find him. We couldn't find. He's so small and fast and quick. We couldn't find him. And then the next week he goes and he beats Auburn in Auburn. So for those who know, like you, this is not something out of the blue. I mean, this kid has fought everywhere he's been, Andrew.
No, and the play that embodies a lot of what he is, Joe, to me, is the play in a game that we lost, which was a couple of weeks ago versus Missouri. It's overtime. It's second down and I think 16. And we're trying to get ourselves in a position to take the lead in overtime. And he runs 15 yards right up the middle and, almost John Elway Super Bowl helicopter sort of stuff, gets down to the 2-yard line or whatever it was. And eventually Vandy scores. Like, his willingness at 5 foot, whatever we list him, and I don't know what we list him, it doesn't matter. His willingness to throw his body into the fray is what I think earns so much respect across the board from coaches to players. His leadership and blah, 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 blah. You can talk the talk, but like, you get between the lines on a Saturday and Diego's going to sacrifice himself. And he did it versus Missouri. He's willing to take he is a little crafty, guys. He's gifted enough to not take the direct hit. And we'll see if that continues, but he's crafty enough to not take the direct hit, but he's still willing to put his body on the line. And he shows it darn near every play.
We're talking to Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Commodores. I said this earlier in the show, and you see them every day, so I'm curious of your thoughts on this. Obviously, Georgia State's one you want back, but the rebound the next week to go to Missouri to play the way they did, I know they didn't win, but you definitely saw the response, and then the subsequent response against Alabama and the eventual win. How much did they learn from Georgia State and that road trip and that loss, and you kind of saw them maybe get humbled a little bit, but they were able to use that to their advantage to grow into what we ended up seeing Saturday?
Yeah, so I was listening to you guys about an hour ago, Chase, and I heard you made that point, and I agree, and I would actually probably take the little bit off of they got humbled at Georgia State. Like, there's no doubt they went into that game thinking one thing and they got taught another lesson. And what it made me think of was talking with CJ Taylor a couple of seasons ago, in which he told me directly that the way that they performed versus South Carolina back in 22 on this field here at First Bank Stadium was such an unbelievable letdown that they walked out of that game going like, we can't play like that. We can't think like that. We can't do anything like that moving forward. And the next week they went to Kentucky and broke the 26-game losing streak, and they followed it with the victory versus Florida. So, yeah, I mean, nobody wants those moments. You want to learn your lessons in close victories, not heartbreaking losses. But you've got to take the deck of cards as it's going to fall to you and learn to play the hands that you've got. And there's no doubt 2 years ago that game versus South Carolina mattered. And there's no doubt that here this season, Georgia State mattered. But again, like, you know, they laid down rat traps in Tuscaloosa last week. It didn't work. Vandy's got to figure it out because, you know, we go get popped in the teeth versus Kentucky. That's a good team. It doesn't undo what happened here today at all, or this week at all. No doubt, it does not undo it. But you understand what I'm saying, right? Like we have the evidence already from a Vanderbilt football perspective to know what it means to ride the wave of emotion and get bitten by it in the subsequent weeks.
No, and you made a great point earlier. Let people know Vanderbilt beat Alabama. I mean, man for man, they beat Alabama. This was not a gimme. Alabama did not play a bad game, all that nonsense. Vanderbilt beat Alabama man to man for 60 minutes last Saturday. So people need to know that.
There's two things that I would add to that. The first is Alabama had one singular series in which they helped Vanderbilt. There was a 17-play drive. Vanderbilt finished it with a touchdown in the first half. It was aided by 3 Alabama penalties. But over the course of 60 minutes, if it's Vandy versus Alabama, and you can point to one time in which Alabama beat itself, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. The second would be one of the things that hurt Vanderbilt versus Georgia State is when they took away the edge on the option guys with Pavia, Vanderbilt struggled to run up the middle. It was 2nd down and 10 running up the middle for a while until they could figure out Eli Stowers in the fourth quarter. Vanderbilt was running up the middle with Cedric Alexander and getting 2 or 3 yards consistently. So if nothing else, the line for Vanderbilt was able to move Alabama's defensive line, let that sink in for a sec, to pick up 2 or 3 or 4 yards on first down on a pretty consistent basis. Like, what was it, 12 for 18 on third downs? Like, yes, we were in third downs, but and one of them we converted on a fourth down. I would venture to guess of the 12 or 13 times, it was like third down and 5, 75% of the time, which means Vanderbilt's offensive line did enough to either hold up or push Alabama's defensive line to pick up 5 yards on the first 2 plays. That's beating a team.
Yeah, 100%. Andrew, it was a lot of fun. I saw the tail end of the mob carrying the goalpost down to the Cumberland on Saturday. That was awesome to see, and I know you had to enjoy it. Enjoy the trip to Lexington, and let's keep this thing going.
Yes, sir, Chase.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Commodores, joining us here on the program. We will come back with what day is it, celebrity birthdays, all that stuff here on a Monday. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game here on this Monday. We've enjoyed the reaction to Vanderbilt's big win over Alabama. I know it'll continue on DVD. On DVD, and then also on Stillman and Company
all day, baby,
this afternoon. And we are efforting. Hopefully, Clark Lee will be on these airwaves outside of his scheduled appearances. On Tuesday and Thursday. Hopefully, we'll get him on today. Would love to be able to talk to Coach after that big win. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen, there's a lot on this list. I'll just pick some of my favorites on it. National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day. Love that.
Yummy.
Let's see. We also have Child Health Day, National Flower Day, and let's see, LED Light Day. Ooh, National Propane Day. How about that?
I had to get some new propane last night.
Really?
Yeah, for the grill.
More Zaxby's in you?
What does Zaxby's have to do with propane?
Yeah, what? I don't get that, Joe.
Little gas?
Oh, no.
Guys, come on, man.
Sorry,
That's
Joe.
not funny.
It is funny.
Number one rule of comedy, be funny.
That's funny.
The other one we have here is World Architecture Day, World Habitat Day, and National Frappe Day. How about that?
Fried what day?
Frappe, like the...
frappe.
Yeah, the frappe.
Okay. I'm not cultured. I'm from Donaldson. I don't know much.
Also, National Inner Beauty Day. Yes.
Time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get them within 2 years. Here we go. Our first birthday today is, let's see, John Cougar Mellencamp.
Oh,
How
wow.
old is Johnny?
78.
76.
73. He looks like in this picture like he just woke up and he's in concert.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Probably so. Cellist Yo-Yo Ma.
You love some Yo-Yo Ma.
Oh, my gosh. When he does The Devil Went Down to Georgia on that cello, bring tear to a glass eye.
70.
74.
69.
Nice.
Yo-Yo Ma. 69 today. Michael W. Smith lives out in Franklin.
58.
62.
67.
Dang.
Simon Cowell.
65.
60.
65 exactly. Chases up 3-0. Tony Braxton. It's beautiful in this picture.
Yeah.
Good loud.
63.
52.
57. Let's see who else saw. TV personality Joey Behar from The View.
Oh, Joy?
Joey?
You said Joey. I was like, who?
Isn't it Joey? Joey, how do you say it?
Joy, isn't it?
Joy.
Joy, joy, joy. I got joy in my heart. Joy in my heart.
58.
63.
She's 82.
What? Damn.
Drummer Tico Torres of Bon Jovi.
62.
65.
71. Chases up 3-0. Let's see here. The lead singer of Radiohead, Tom York.
57.
53.
56. Chases up 4-0 right now. Going down here some more. Taylor Hicks, who won American Idol. He's from Birmingham, isn't he?
Yeah. 45.
42.
48. Let's see. Chase still up 4-0. I'm hurrying up here. All right, let's get a few more sports birthdays. Priest Holmes, former Chiefs running back, Texas running back.
46.
45.
51. Charles Woodson, who stole a Heisman Trophy from Peyton Manning. It
50.
sent Tennessee fans to a trailer park
48.
frenzy. What'd you say?
50.
48.
48 exactly. It's 4-2. Now, Dr. Crane, you can tie. You got a chance. Last birthday, Evan Longoria.
39.
A baseball player, right? Third
Yeah.
baseman?
No, the one from Desperate Housewives.
Sorry. I'm going to go 43.
And my goodness, Dr. Crane, Chase nailed it. 39.
I hate when you do that.
Chase wins 6-2. It's like Ryan Seacrest, American Idol. Well
Thank
done,
you.
Chase. Well done.
That will do it for us. More Vanderbilt reaction coming your way on DVD.
Hey, it's Monday. Look, you guys made it through the weekend. You're doing awesome. Know that we love you. If you need to talk to somebody, again, your cell phone, 988. Please reach out. please, anything going on, talk to somebody. We're here for you. Know that our world is a better place because you are here. You are tremendously loved, and God has you on this earth for a specific purpose that only you can fulfill, and it's a beautiful journey. Please know that. Know that we love you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DMase, Vingan, Daunic is coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.